which is the second last session for this room, at least for this channel. And I would like to ask you to slowly get set, take your seat. Welcome to move to the front rows. We're not biting. Cool, thank you. Then I would like to welcome all of you to our next presentation. We will have Inbal Budowski-Tal speaking. And Inbal is the Senior Director of Machine Learning at Pendo. Pendo is a unicorn startup in the field of digital adoption. Inbal is she's leading the ML strategy at Pendo, and her team is developing the recently announced Simon platform. This is Pendo's powerful machine learning engine behind it. Prior to Pendo, Inbal has gathered her AI and data science experience in different domains such as fintech and biotech, and as a researcher at Microsoft. Today, we will be delighted to have Inbal with us, sharing her experience and insights of how to successfully deliver machine learning projects to production. Thank you, Inbal. Welcome.
Hi, everyone. Nice to be here. So again, I want to tell you that I've been in the industry for 7 years after completing my PhD in computer science. And I've really seen big companies such as Microsoft and small companies. I was also the first employee of a startup. And I joined Pendo a year ago. At the time, Pendo was a 500 people company, and now we are a 1,000 people company. And I started like the data science team or department. We have actually 2 teams now. And, oh, I need to get my clicker. And the subject of this talk is really to make it worth. And the thing is probably a lot of you know this. This is a title from 2019 that claims that 87% of machine learning projects fail, like don't hit production eventually. And I was wondering, what can we do about it? Like, can we do better? Is it possible to do better? Can we find the common denominator of these projects and find something that we can actually learn from? And it's even more relevant today as the market atmosphere is like, be more efficient. Companies are looking for profit, not only revenue. This means looking for dollars that are coming in versus dollars that are coming out. Yeah, you have to be more efficient and be okay with your budget and your expenses. And actually, it means that you have to break the linear connection between the number of customers and the number of employees, right? So this is a big opportunity for machine learning, right? Because we can do things more efficiently. We can save the amount of repetitive work in many places, and we can help focus people on the most relevant work for them. So this is amazing, but on the other hand, it creates big expectations from us to deliver, and now, or yesterday, right? So this puts us in a position that we need to deliver. And, I hear a lot of opinions of where exactly the problem of delivering machine learning lies, because there is a problem. A lot of people say it's the data. The data is, it takes a long time to clean it. We don't have enough of it. It's always the data. And some will say it's the models. The models are not mature enough, or they require high-level hardware, or I don't know, they don't fit the business need. They're not good enough for that. And something that I really, again, I agree with everything, and I really, something that is close to my heart is the infrastructure. The infrastructure for machine learning is not good enough. We don't have like vendors taking it end-to-end of everything that we need in order to have good machine learning practices in production. But I would like to give you a different angle here. So even though I'm very techy, I will give you an angle of it's not about the tech, it's not about the technology, and it's more about the people and the way that we manage our projects and ourselves as data scientists. And I think that if you are a manager, but also if you're a data scientist on the team, you can have an impact, and you can think like it's our responsibility as data science leaders to make a difference and to start thinking differently about the way that we deliver data science. And I will focus on 3 aspects. One is setting up the team or the mindset that we have talked, Noah have talked about it in the last presentation. The second is to create a vision for a team. Without a holistic vision for the team, the department, or for you as an individual, it's hard to deliver because you're not sure where you are going long term. So you're like, okay, I will focus only on that, but maybe if you know the vision, you will be more determined to succeed. And the third is how to choose the right projects. So it's also, I think that if there are a few possibilities, there is a way to choose the right one, and I will share it with you. So let's start with setting up the team. So if I say to people the word data scientists, to people that are not data scientists, they are often perceived as people that are very disconnected from the business. They don't really understand the customer on the other end. They work on complex projects, and usually it takes a long time to work on this project, and everybody knows that they're working like long time on something. And this is basically how they are perceived, and I hope you like Futurama because I like it, and also one of my teams is called Futurama. What I think is that we have to change it. And I would give you a few examples of things that I have encountered through my years of experience. So one don't do that I do like recommend to avoid is to say, okay, this project is going to take me 1 year. So I'm going to start it, catch up with me in 1 year when I'm finished, and I will deliver it in 1 year. So this is something that happens. It happens a lot. The other example is, and also we heard about it, to find the latest and greatest deep learning model that doesn't have a GitHub code, and you have to code it from a paper. That's the best one, right? Because it's so great. And actually, we want to solve a business problem that it might be not needed. Like there are a few papers that show that for tabular data and for textual data, for certain problems, linear regressors are doing just as good. So it might be that it's not needed. And Another very notorious phase of a machine learning project is a POC, the proof of concept, the very beginning of the project. That can also, we start with something and it has an exploratory nature. So we start exploring and we don't know what we are going to get and we have no goal, and it raises really, really interesting research questions that we have to explore as a part of the POC. And then we end up with months and months of work that I'm not sure that is getting us anywhere, except from, like, it's probably very interesting. So instead, what I recommend you to do is to break long projects into small deliverables that you can introduce. And the deliverables, and this is a very important part, it has to convey customer value. So a cleaned data set is not a milestone, okay? This is like having a clean data set is not customer value. When I'm saying customer value, I will give you an example, and each project has like its own possible customer value. So what we did at Pendo recently is that we planned a one-year project. Sorry, it happened. We understood that the effort, we analyzed the effort, and we understood that it's about 1 year. And we tried to find a way to break it and have an interim deliverable to customers. And it was a prediction problem. And we said, okay, for the prediction, we have like the feature engineering part and then feature selection. Perhaps the most important features for the model, we can introduce them to the customers, and perhaps they can gain something from it. And we found out that indeed customers loved it. So we showed this option for a few customers, design partners, and they said, wow, this gives us a lot of value. By the way, they said that it gives them more value than the actual prediction eventually. So we just cut the project into half or even a bit less and delivered this one to production. So it's kind of amazing because we are so creative in so many ways, and we have to be creative in breaking long projects into interim meaningful deliverables. Start with a simple model. The thing is, what a lot of people say, why? It's just like, it's easy for me to use BERT or to use, yeah, I understand. It may be easy, but if you have an easier solution, you can try to show it to customers, and they will look at it and say, perhaps, that they don't want it. That they don't want it because they don't need it. There is no product market fit at all, even though you thought that there is. And it can save you a lot of work. Another possibility is that they say, wow, this already gives me great results, like really, really great results. And the thing that I don't like about it is not the machine learning, is the user interface. Something bothers me in another aspect of things. So why work so hard on the latest and greatest model if you can deliver something simple and give value? And if you are diving into a POC, and I have a lot of things to say about it, but if you are diving into a POC, state the hypothesis that you are about to validate in this POC. And if other questions come out from this POC, list them. That's okay to have other research questions. And after you finish this POC, just go to the business expert or to your product manager or to other people and say, should I go and look for a solution for these questions, or does it may be something that is not worth my time? So, and this is something that I have learned during the last year when I hired over 10 data scientists. And actually, it means that I have interviewed more than 100 data scientists. And it hurts physically to say it. But what I understood is that we have to favor impact over science. And it's not easy as a PhD to say it, and it doesn't mean that we give up science. Yeah? This is the fundamentals. It has to be there. But the mindset of the people have to say, we want to have impact. We want to deliver something that people are using, rather than saying, okay, I want like the latest and greatest machine learning model, deep learning model. I want to research further. This is not the mindset that will make us deliver. And I must say that, sadly, there are a few people that were interviewing with me, and when I figured that they were so great, but they were more interested in science, so we had to say, okay, so this is not a good fit. And by the way, usually the other side, when you have it in the conversation, usually the other side, they know it and they agree with it and they understand that it's not a right fit for them as well. So the next tip is to create a vision. Wow, creating a vision, like easily said, but how really should it be done? So I think I have something new to tell you here about how to create a vision to your team. So the first thing, and I think there was a question before from the audience of how to identify machine learning opportunities. So machine learning opportunities are out there. In some companies, it's very straightforward. They know, like, they are very heavily relied on machine learning, and it's not really interesting. But in some companies, like my experience at Pendo, you have to fish out the relevant projects. So I try to find repeating patterns or manual work that people are doing, like every week, every month, that might be a good candidate to have machine learning over it. Tasks that are easy for humans but difficult to code. The easiest example that I can give is face recognition, right? It's very easy for us humans, but if you code it without machine learning, you will not be able to make it. And this is one of my favorite. If you go to a code and you see like enormous if-else statements, then this is a good candidate to replace with machine learning that probably will do better. So my advice to you is, first of all, by the way, even if you don't have to really look for the projects, list them. Have a list of projects. Like, I came with 15 or 20 projects, and they have like a title and a summary of each project. Another tip that I can tell you is that you should talk to as many stakeholders at the company as possible. So I was talking to customer success people, for example. Why should a machine learning expert talk to customer success? Do you have any idea why? Yeah?
It's usually how you know about problems they're facing and things that they hope they have but don't. And it can give rise to a lot of ideas for projects, usually.
Right. So customer success people, they know the customers the best, right? So, and they know the customers in places where they have problems or that they need to renew their contract or something. And this is times where they know what's painful, because customers will tell, well, I want to renew, but this and that is a problem. Marketing, Why should I talk to marketing people? What do they know? Yes? Future customers, exactly. They know the market. They know the competition. They know how to make the product more appealing to others and which machine learning features other competitors have or they think that we should have in order to have like the upper side of the market. So anything, like I think that this is a very partial list. I talked a lot with product designers that gave me like great ideas. They have like a full vision of how the product should look like, and they don't really know that in their vision there are a lot of machine learning recommendation system beneath it. So really talk to as many people as you can at the company. Don't say no to meetings. And now to the magic, okay? And how to create a vision. You remember the list. After talking to all those stakeholders, you have a list, right? And what I suggest is to find groups. Take the list and do some clustering, yeah? Manual clustering of the list, okay? And group the projects perhaps by machine learning field, like projects on data of vision, of texts, or of structured data. Or perhaps by product, like if you have a product suite or a few products in your company, so maybe each project is for a different product, or by mission, but find a way. And it's really different for every company, how you group it. And these groups are actually your vision, because for each group you have a list of a few projects. And they have totally different angles, and they touch on different points of the company or product areas or something like that. And this is how it looked like for Pendo. You're not supposed to understand anything from it, but this is like 4 areas of machine learning impact that we can have. And this actually, this slide has accompanied me in many, many meetings where I started with the vision, and then I say, okay, and we are talking about this project, which is on this machine learning area, and these are the other projects that are going to be there. And it also has derived the structure of my department. So, or it can derive the structure of your team, which person is going to work on what. Like, it's something that really gives you something to look forward to. And the last point is around choosing the right project. So, okay, you have a few projects, like 15 or 20 projects, right? And you have them grouped or clustered to areas, to machine learning areas, and now we want to work on the next project, or the first, or the next. Okay. The first advice I'm going to give you is really to beware of moonshots. A project that will, solve all the company's problem and do the dishes at the end is not the project that you want to take, okay? So really beware of moonshots. It's something that a lot of companies, they demand from the machine learning, because like we are doing the magic and they want something that solves everything. Don't go there, okay? Instead, what I think that the best way is to focus on a few projects. The better way is to find one per machine learning area, one per group, and then start with effort estimation. So try to say high level how much time it's going to take and how many people. So this is very hard maybe, but for experienced people, they know like t-shirt size, like is this small, medium, large, extra large project. Then, after you have the effort estimation, you have the effect estimation. This is harder for us data scientists. So the effect is, the best would be, how many dollars will I get from this, or euros, sorry. How many dollars will you get from this project? From this feature, machine learning-based feature, by how much can I sell it? This is something that usually my product manager is helping me with thinking on that direction. It can be how much money it will save, or how much work it will save. And also there are other aspects of effect, like gaining a competitive advantage. And then, this is the title here, the MIMI. It's a term I have coined. I hope you like it. You will recommend the minimum effort, maximum effect project. So find the project with the minimum effort, like the smallest that you can, and if it's not small enough, make it smaller, okay? And that gives the maximal effect, that is like a wow effect on it, okay? And it's kind of easy with machine learning. Everything is like a wow. So find this project and choose this one, and have it as a recommendation. Because then, at the end of this process, the best way to take decisions is to get the management involved in the decision. So you don't just operate by your own, but you have the management there to support you in the decision. And so I did like an executive meeting, and I didn't show them only one project, like my recommendation. I showed them the vision and the one project from each machine learning area. And I told them the recommendation and why I recommend. So I really did a deep analysis of the effort and the effect, and showed them my data-driven decision there. And what happened is something quite amazing, because I also got like an aha, yes, we agree from the management. This is very important. But they also, as a byproduct, they know the vision. And then they prioritize the other projects. So I have like kind of a roadmap. So this gives me so much. And I really think that this is the way that will help you get the support you need in order to deliver eventually. So to summarize, we talked about setting up the team and have the impact over science, which is not easy. And then we talked about creating a vision and talking to as many stakeholders as possible to gain a holistic view. And dividing the machine learning opportunities that we have listed, grouping them or clustering them to machine learning areas. And then, in choosing the right projects, we talked about the MIMI, which is minimum effort, maximum effect. Right. So thank you, everyone. I will be happy to take questions.
Thank you very much, Inbal. It's very insightful, and looking forward for questions. I'm happy to walk around with a microphone, whoever has questions. Oh, first, second.
Thank you very much. Very, very insightful and useful. Kind of gathered a lot of really important ideas. I have a question. So we started with like 87% don't make it to production because they fail to bring value, maybe in A/B testing phase. From your experience, following this kind of method or steps, what was the percentage, what is the improvement that you see in the percentage of projects that made it successfully to production?
Okay. So I don't have a big enough sample size to determine whether it's statistically significant, but what can I say? I think that it can drop significantly, but I really don't feel comfortable in saying like it drops to at 90% or 50%. But I do think that, and if I told you that it drops to 100%, then you won't believe me. But I do think that it improves a lot the delivery. I can say that through my year at Pendo, we had 3 projects. And one of them has failed not because of like machine learning, but because there was a re-platforming issue in the company that we weren't aware of in advance. So currently we are standing on a 75 or 66%, but I don't know. We'll see.
Cool. Thank you. Oh, there's another question here.
Yeah.
Thanks a lot. So you talked about starting from a baseline model, and I'm just thinking, is there a reasonable way to say you make a baseline model and your team likes it and they say, oh yeah, I would like to pursue this? Is there a reasonable way to estimate and say, oh, if the baseline model is maybe 6 out of 10, 10 times accurate, I can make the proper model 9 out of 10 accurate or 8 out of 10 accurate. Just thinking, is there a reasonable way to make such a forecast and promise, or does it make sense to even say something like that so that in the future when it doesn't work, they'd be like, oh, you promised us that and you can't deliver it?
Thank you for the question, great question. So I must say that I think one of the biggest challenges for machine learning teams is the confidence level. Like, you have a baseline model very fast that gives you 60%. Can you make it a 95%? And I'm like, I don't know. I know, I feel you. And what I think that with experience, we come to like having more sense of what machine learning can do for us and what's not. And it's something that it's specific to the domain and to the problem, but in many ways I feel that I can be comfortable in saying, and I usually try not to exaggerate too much. And I also have a lot of disclaimers there, because like testing a model, it really depends on the population, on the sample, on like on the distribution, on so many things that I try not to have this kind of conversation. I'm saying we can do better, but I'm not saying by how much. I don't think that it's a matter of product requirements. Like, this is something that I'm trying not to have a conversation upon.
Thank you. Further questions?
Thank you very much, Inbal, for the session. Yeah, I'd like to understand. Yeah, in terms of your experience working with the team, have you had any challenges where you had, say, a project where there's a maximum, not a comparably lesser output from a project where you have less inputs in terms of money, but then compared to another project where you have to invest a whole lot of money, but the impact is bigger? How do you make the decisions between such projects, basically?
Yeah, so you're talking about the effect versus effort, right? And sometimes the biggest effect lies where you also put a lot of effort. And then it's harder to make a decision, right? So I think that it wouldn't be like a project with a lot of effect, but a lot of effort as well, wouldn't be the first project I will take. I will try to take something of less effort in order to establish trust. Trust in myself, basically, but also trust from the company, from the customers that we can deliver, and we'll have also some infrastructure already. And we have to balance the amount of effort that we put into projects, so we can take some projects with small efforts and some projects that are more risky, because larger effort is usually also more risky. So just balance the risk is what I suggest.
So thank you very much. Time's up. I see there are still quite a lot of questions going on, so Inbal is sticking around for a bit more time, and please feel free to catch up, to connect, and to have follow-up discussions. Thank you again very much, Inbal.
Thank you.